Want to thank everybody, especially from the press. It's probably a crazy time to be a journalist. Thank you for showing up here. We have here two small business owners, Californians who own small businesses. Michelle Mack is the founder, the owner, and a mom of Mewl Baby, mewlbaby.com. So you're definitely going to want to pull up Mewl Baby on Instagram and get ready to hear Michelle talk as a small business owner. And then Jerick Sobie, the co-founder, owner of Lucky Feet Shoes out of Temecula in Riverside County. I'm Ryan Razan. I'm with the Connected Commerce Council. We're trying as hard as we can to get newsrooms, producers, editors, journalists to talk to Michelle, to talk to Jerick and other small businesses. Our mission's really to promote these small businesses, but especially the way they're using digital technologies. So we're going to talk about Assembly Bill 446. That's actually something that Michelle's going to talk about. We're all going to talk about Assembly Bill 566. That's both of us. Both Jerick and Michelle will talk about that. And then Jerick will talk about Assembly Bill 1018. So we're going to cover off on all three. But first, Michelle Mack, San Francisco, Mewl Baby. Tell us about your business, how you started it. Give us an introduction, please.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I am so happy to be here. My name is Michelle Mack. I started Mewl Baby about 5 years ago when I became a first-time mom. This was also around the beginning of COVID. So my background is in e-commerce data analytics. And when I got laid off, my baby was 6 months old, and that was the perfect time to launch Mewl Baby, where I can have the flexibility to be with my son. I have baby charts, digital tools like an IVF tracker, and a pop-up stroller showroom here in San Francisco so that moms and new families can come in and check out baby gear.
And Jerick, Lucky Feet Shoes out of Temecula, Riverside County, Southern California. Walk us through the story. How in the world did you start Lucky Feet Shoes?
Okay. Well, good afternoon. My name is Jerick Sobie. I'm a co-founder of Lucky Feet Shoes. Started Lucky Feet Shoes a little over 20 years ago. I was in mid-level management and I ended up leaving my company that I really loved and I thought I'd be there forever. It ended up closing and then had to get another job. Got this job thinking I could do the same thing, replicate the magic that I had there. Didn't work out. Then I ended up moving on. And so after a couple of jobs like that, I decided, why don't I do something for myself? Why don't I use my skills and my hard work and see if I can go ahead and be successful at something? So what was I going to do as a business? I had no idea. Looked into some franchises, thought that'd be the easiest way to market. So apologize for that. It's kind of it's franchises. And I thought that way I don't have to recreate the wheel. I can get help. And I looked at different things and I thought, well, I wanted something I would, I want to help and something that would be meaningful. So I opened up an orthopedic type of shoe store in 2005 in Rancho Cucamonga. And that was a satisfaction because I could help people. I could help people with their foot pain, foot issues, and help them walk better. And through time, after a few years, a second store. Then after that, 5 years later, decided to go and branch and create our own called Lucky Feet Shoes. Move away more from the orthopedic side to more the comfort casual side. So what we do is we carry a lot of comfortable shoes, athletic shoes, running shoes, walking shoes, dress shoes, sandals, clogs, arch supports, all comfort, like brands that people know, like Birkenstock, Hoka, Clarks, um, Uggs, and so forth. So went to that part to help people, and it's all about for us. We have now 13 locations, and I've been doing this for a little over 20 years. What makes us different is our customer service. When people come in, we're the old style sit and fit, where people will sit down, we'll ask you some questions. What brings you in? What are you looking for? Why? We'll measure your feet. We'll see how you walk. We'll put you on a machine, putting it where you see where you're putting the pressure on your feet, and being that good detective to find out what do you do all day, and then that way we can make recommendations. Because people will come in, maybe they're going to go start walking, maybe they start exercising, need good comfortable shoes. Maybe a friend told them buy some Hokas or New Balance. But why? Everybody's foot is different, and that's what makes us different. It's like you have fleshy foot, a rigid foot, a soft, a flat foot, pronator, supinator. There's not one shoe for everybody. And that's what we come in, and that's what I try to spouse on my employees to make that relationship. It's not about selling them a shoe, it's about selling them the right shoe, whether we're there 15 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm
Let me
excited
ask you,
here
Jerick,
about.
let me start with you. Let's start with Assembly Bill 566 because I mean, you're selling shoes and you're a small business. You're competing with very, very large businesses. Walk us through how you're using these personalized digital ads and how you use those ads to reach the right customer and compete against the bigger competitors. What do you think?
Sure, yes, definitely. So that the social media, like you're talking about, that is the space that is the best form of advertising for a small business. That we go those places, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, allow us to segment, pick the right demographics, pick a small radius around the stores to be able to talk to people, to show them that there's a place where they can go and ask questions about their foot problems, foot pain, or the differences between a Hoka and a Brooks. So we do segmented ads around our places and allows us to be the most economical way, because we have many people that come in and our customers say, I wish I would have seen you guys a couple of years ago. I wish where you been, but we've been here. It's just print is doesn't work anymore. Coupon books, all those things have changed. So from a small business perspective, social media, those campaigns, those minimal ads that pop up, and then as you're going through Facebook and you look, if you don't like it, you just move on. Those are the best ways to reach the customers for us.
Michelle, how about for you at mulebaby.com? You're trying to reach moms, you're trying to reach parents with babies. So you're personalizing digital ads, but you also, at the same time, as the founder and the owner, you've got to comply with all the privacy laws. Why do you use the personalized digital ads? How are you complying with privacy laws already on the books?
I think I rely on a lot of platforms to do that for me. Like you mentioned, I am a one person. So each platform I have to learn specific keywords. So right now I can only do, new gifts for new moms, or like best baby planners to organize your schedules, stuff like that. So that's the way that I'm able to find my customers. But then I also want to offer them a discount. So let's just say that they're just shopping around, looking around, and they have one of 5 baby charts in their shopping cart. For me to really stand out, I need to offer them an incentive, such as a discount, so that they could come back in the shopping cart to finish. So this 466 will not allow me to utilize that strategy that I have that's so successful so far, is retargeting the customers and finding the right customers to target. For me to target um, like a college student or somebody that doesn't even have a baby, that's just me throwing water down the drain. So it's not very effective for me unless I am able to promote existing customers as well as finding new customers.
So Assembly Bill 446 in particular has a lot to do with data-driven promotions and
Yes.
privacy concerns. Which data-driven promotions are you using now for Mule?
So I use abandoned cart. So right now, especially for Etsy, it's huge. So each segment, I would say that customers are buying at different times, right? And different reasons. So for Amazon to Prime shipping, they want that product now. So I realize my baby is coming home and I need my product now. That's a very different customer than somebody that is building up a baby registry who hasn't had their baby and they want their friends to purchase it. So because of those two things, I want to target them very differently. One can be abandoned in the cart, and somebody want to see where I could offer them a promo code to add for their baby registry, something like that.
And also, the thing about Assembly Bill 446, you were telling us before this started, if a customer leaves something in a cart, you're seeing that you're able to do some promotion, you're able to actually try and market and reach that customer. But Assembly Bill 446 would make that impossible. Can you explain
They
what you, yeah.
I don't really know how they're going to implement this in any way, but for them to just say that I cannot offer a discount in my abandoned cart, that would probably drop my Etsy sales by like a significant amount,
Mm,
if I can't have that marketing tactic.
got it. Hey, quick reminder to everybody in this webinar, please ask questions in the chat. Hit me up. I'm Ryan. Things you want to hear specifically from Michelle. Remember, she's out of San Francisco, mulebaby.com. And then Jerick, also down in Temecula, Riverside County, co-owner of Lucky Feet Shoes. Jerick, you also are willing to speak up about Assembly Bill 1018. You're using generative AI and AI tools. Walk us through how and what you're doing there.
So we're using an AI tool for help us with ADA website compliance for people that have like people that are blind or partially blind and so forth. They have special needs and they have these readers that have to read like the background images, what it is because they can't see it. So we've trying to always constantly adapt. So we have an app that helps us to basically take all our information for all our descriptions that people can read and put it in the background in the images in the alt tags. And for us to do that, we actually had a developer and look, and it was going to be like 300, 400 hours, and that they would charge. It's just so cost prohibitive. So this app allows us an AI app. It takes it all and it puts it in there. So it doesn't create new things. It just moves it over. But I don't know how it works, but it works. It works fine. But it's something that would have taken 400 hours takes 2.5 hours for them to go through everything and basically just update that. Those are the kind of things. Those are kind of tools that help small businesses be able to compete with the big businesses. There's already so many things that we are at a disadvantage. So taking these AI apps and being able to do things, just to update and modify it it's tremendous. And this has just started. So I don't know what else, but there's a lot more things coming.
If we had journalists in your shop at Lucky Feet Shoes down here in Southern California, Jerick, and you were showing them what it looks like to be using these AI tools, but also to make this point that you're up against very, very big competitors, what are the things you would show us and show these journalists for their stories?
Well, like I mentioned, we've just started recently using those AI tools. So that one is more website specific, So for for us, like in store, it would probably be more like with schedules, and that would be the next thing, like help with our employee schedules. Having 13 stores, dealing with the scheduling and so forth, that would be very helpful. Um, HR issues, being able to answer questions, especially also for our customers calling in or going chatting on the website. If we can use AI to help answer the most common questions, that just frees up the employees to do other things, to take care of the customer, instead of answering the phone call and saying, oh, what are your hours, or, where are you located and all that. If you can use AI, the more little things you can do, because as a small business owner, you're a jack of all trades. You have to do a little bit of everything. So anything that can help you automate, streamline, will allow you to be more in front of the customer and more and doing the things that you need to do in order to be able to grow or just succeed in California.
Yeah. Let's go to Assembly Bill 566. So, Titus Wu, Bloomberg, thank you for using the chat, asking questions. This is the one that would force web browsers, Chrome, Safari, to permit one-click data blocking. And so there's a point here, Michelle, Jerick, where you were trying to make me see, but let's talk to Titus Wu here of Bloomberg, understanding the nature of the data and how you at mulebaby.com, how you at Lucky Feet Shoes, Jerick, how do you use the data as a small business owner? Why would it be so damaging? Michelle, can we start with you? Assembly Bill 566. So this is that the digital insights you get from browsing behavior of your customers.
Yeah, I think that when you're universally opting out and you're not going to get any kind of customer data, I think that there's just no way for me to target my audience. So again, my product is very niche. I'm not just selling to any women, I'm selling to new mothers. That's a very, very small niche that I need to target. I cannot waste my marketing dollars targeting to people that are not going to become mothers or is not going to become a mother next year. And also, whenever somebody is coming into my website and opting out, they won't really get any kind of messaging of new products or any kind of way for me to remarket them. So a great example is one of my products is a pregnancy water bottle. The Mewl pregnancy water bottle encourages new mothers to stay hydrated, and it actually tracks every single week of their pregnancy to kind of encourage them to, again, be healthy, stay healthy, and hydrated. And then the way that I would want to market is, 9 months down the road, you're going to have a baby. And this is the perfect opportunity for me to retarget them about my baby log. And then 6 months after that, retarget them on my baby first foods chart. So again, there's this really good chronological way for me to retarget the customers and then also the right customers. So for example, if somebody is into baby-led weaning, that's a perfect target for them to kind of know about my food chart. So again, without these knowledge, again, I'm just kind of throwing money down the drain and hopefully somebody is going to listen to it. It's kind of like the radio. The radio is a very general message, but that's not what's going to really convert into dollar sales for me. And I don't have budget for like radio or TV. So for me, I really need that targeted audience data so that my marketed dollars are effective and also converts into sales.
Michelle, do you think your customers, to
Yeah.
Titus's point, do you think they're going to opt out? That they're going to take advantage of that opt out? They're going to say, you know what, Michelle, it's a mom created business.
I think that's a very interesting thing, Ryan. I think after a while, I think all people get kind of tired of spam and want to opt out. And maybe somebody wanted one baby and then they opted out, but then they had a second baby. So now, if any point in time that my customers' behaviors or their life has changed, there's no way for me to kind of reach out to them again. Or maybe they decided not to be parents anymore and they want a friend to have one of the best like baby shower gifts. For them to opt out at some point, maybe it was like, maybe it was a bad day for the mom. They decided they don't want to hear any kind of spam. So they opt out of everything. And I will never, ever be able to remarket that person again.
Yeah. Jerick, can you talk about Assembly Bill 566 for Titus Wu and Bloomberg and the story? And specifically, there's an idea that pop-ups also people would opt out of that, but then can they even opt back in? Jerick, how are you seeing 566?
Yeah, I'm seeing this like she was talking about the whole opt-out process, just a one opt out, and then everything's gone. You'll never see anything. What's going to happen for me, like for advertising wise, then if they opt out of everything, then I won't be able to advertise in Facebook and Google Local, YouTube and all, because there won't be any of that data. I won't be able to segment it to the people that would be interested into that. Now, there's the whole data privacy, which there's already laws about data privacy and everything. I don't get any of this information. So there's a misconception. Like I'm not getting any social security numbers or date of births or names. When I advertise through those social media channels, they don't tell me. They just go ahead and do it and charge me. And then there's reports to our POS and say, oh, these people came in, but I never know which ones come in. All I have is reports. Facebook, Instagram, they don't share any of that data because it's proprietary. So there's already coverage and blockage. So all I'm trying to do is just get in front of the people, just like Michelle is, and get in front of the right people the most economical way. And the other part is with that whole opt out, we have it on our website too. You have to have it, if you don't want anything, and if you don't want to join us, or you can also unsubscribe to emails at any time on the website from the stores. The email program is a rewards thing for us. We send out special discounts, clearance sales, events for our customers, and a birthday gift card. And there's a lot of times people end up opting out and they don't even know why they opt out or what happened. And then they come back in, they're like, well, I wasn't aware of this special event for us. I didn't get my gift card, my free gift card on my birthday. And we're like, you unsubscribed, which is another avenue. But what I'm getting at is they unsubscribe. They don't even understand that. And they're like, well, I want it now. But it's not that easy. With our email programs, there's already rules in place. I cannot just add them back in. there's a special two-way opt-in because if I do that, they'll kick me out. It's just like and I don't buy emails, and plus, and I don't sell our data. So this AB 566 is it's a fear-mongering type of bill that like, oh, you're taking the personal data and you're doing that. I don't even get that personal data. All I want to do is have an option to be able to send ads, non-invasive ads. They're not intrusive. And then if you like it, you click on it. If you don't, you just bypass it. And Facebook, I get that all the time. If I don't like something, I don't have to stop and look at it. But sometimes I look at stuff. Oh, a new store is opening up, a new restaurant, or there's a band coming to this place. Oh, let me look, a concert's coming, and then I like it. So if everybody opts out of that those things won't happen, and you won't be able to, and it's going to hurt not just ours, Michelle's, but we're talking about from small businesses in general. The mom and pop pizza place that needs to advertise it in the neighborhood. How are they going to do that? The big chain, Pizza Hut or whatever, I don't want to put names, but anyway, they can do commercials. They can do, like she was talking about, they can do radio air spots. They can pay millions of dollars to do that. But this bill, another bill, it hurts the small businesses. How do
Can
we
I
get
ask?
how do we get the name out there?
Can I ask? I mean, we've already got California Privacy Protection Agency. We have a lot of regulations. Michelle, just ensuring compliance, do you know how much you're having to pay and how much you're just having as a small business owner to comply with existing laws already?
As a small business owner, I just run my everyday business. Being up to date with all these compliances is just not where I want to spend my time. My time is really to sell my products and to connect with customers. I would pretty much rely on whatever CRM or platform that I'm using. I would rely on, SurveyMonkey in order to have all these compliances. And then, whether or not they do it properly or not, I have no control. So I don't really know how I could control that myself. Like,
Yeah.
I just think that it's impossible because, again, I'm not creating these systems and these platforms. So I'm just relying on these companies to do it.
We like to say at the Connected Commerce Council, 99.8% of California businesses are small businesses. And I get it, Titus Chase, journalists out there, it's not always easy to get out there and hang out with Michelle at Mewl Baby and a small business owner, or Lucky Feets and Jerick. But the idea here is that if we could get Jerick more journalists to come in and actually see what you're having to do to comply already with existing privacy laws, what would that look like?
I
At
think,
Lucky Feet Shoes, Michelle, or at Mewl Baby, you're already having to comply with these privacy laws. What does it look like?
well, right now, like what Jerick mentioned, I think the privacy is if you want to subscribe, here's the link to it. It's in every one of those emails that we sent out that MailChimp already has in their template. So again, any other compliances such as email or domain, I would then just punt it back to the platform, which is MailChimp, and my platform's on Squarespace. So I'm sure I'll get emails from them and then I would read it and I'm like, okay, as a consumer and as a business owner, there's really not much I can do. There is no options. It's either this is how it is and then you accept, right? And every single time we accept, it does have this like chain reaction on our business. I don't think a lot of people understand what that means. So, this universal opt out, if they opt out on one thing, maybe they just didn't want like maybe they don't really want like my weekly emails about moms connecting, but they want to have discounts. So how are we going to segment that? So again, I don't really know what that means, except the fact that we do need customer data in order to target the right customers for us at the right time.
Yeah. Jerick, what would you add?
I'd like to add, it's being a small business owner, like we are talking about being jack of all trades, like Michelle was saying, it's like we don't have the time to just sit there and double check everything and compliance. It's like, in a way, I'm dealing with it after the fact. So if something happens, a problem, then I talk to the developer. I go, we had that with the little opt-outs. Now you have to have a special, like no cookies and all that. But it's after reading things and finding it. But we don't none of us as small businesses have these departments that can just sit there all day and figure out all the different ways of that things are changing. We need to focus on our business. If we're doing that, we're going to fail. We need to focus on our employees, on making sure we're paying bills on time, making sure we're bringing the customers, we're giving the customer experience. And this is just another thing. So I I react. I don't there I'm not proactive on these kind of things because unless I read it, somebody tells me, then I talk to the developers, pay somebody to look at it and they're like, "Oh, okay, well let's investigate and let's do this, make these changes." We're as a small business, we're reacting. We just don't have the luxury of having a legal department, a big HR department, or a big, we're just trying to, I'll put it blunt, we're just trying to survive. Every year there's more rules and regulations. So we're just trying to survive, making sure we pay our bills on time, making sure we pay our employees. And I don't have the time for this kind of stuff. But we have to make it, but it's just always after. So I'm never proactive on these things, unfortunately. I wish I could be, but there's so many things that you have to do as a small business owner.
Let's do a quick refresh. We're talking today about Assembly Bill 446. This is the one that really, for Mewl Baby Michelle, for Lucky Feet Shoes, Jerick, we're talking about data-driven promotions, trying to build loyalty with your customers, coupons, and the kinds of discounts. You're trying to get that promotional deal-based marketing to your customers. 446 would make that virtually impossible. 566, Assembly Bill 566 is the one we've been talking about the most. Titus, thank you for the questions. Other questions, fire them off. Really about personalized digital ads. We're talking about really aggregated, anonymized data and how you're trying to reach more customers to grow your business. And then Jerick spoke about 1018, how as a small business you're using AI, and that Jerick, really, we should be encouraging small businesses to be using generative AI, not penalized, because we're trying to compete with these bigger ones. Here's a question about that AI bill, Jerick, in particular. Um, these tools are just now kind of coming online. You haven't been playing around with them for very long. Um, the idea is that you're trying to help your customers. You're trying to run a more productive business and cut costs. Anything more you'd add on 1018 and why you're opposed to it?
I think it's the cost. So if it's going to be too cost prohibitive for me to use that, or too many things I need to do with that and spend more time, then I'm not going to use it. I won't be able to use it, and I won't be able to improve the productivity. And like I said, when like Michelle and I are talking, it's just us two, but it's not just us two. It's all the small businesses in California that get these things affected. So if Michelle can use AI to help her business, of course, and then she can do more things, come up with more ideas, help it grow. And we're here, like you said, 99% of small businesses are the backbone here of the community. We're the ones that live here. We don't leave and move out just because we get a better tax advantage. So it's like, don't treat us the same as the big business, because if you're doing that, we don't have the firepower that they do. So, it's not fair. You should, look at how it impacts us and then see that, because those are your neighbors, those are your friends. We're the ones that are here, donating to little league teams, soccer teams, doing all that. We don't do any of that stuff for PR. We do it because we're in the community. So, we just want a fair shake. And we want, and then, like you said before, I think we talked about the state of California is using AI. So, it's kind of hypocritical that they get to use it, but then now it's going to be cost prohibitive for us if they pass all these rules and regulations. You know, Once
Yeah.
again, not fair.
One note that we've got is that when it comes to 1018, Assembly Bill 1018, the state Senate and its Appropriations Committee released a fiscal analysis. We're talking about a cost to state and local agencies, hundreds of millions of dollars annually. California State Water Resources Control Board is now in opposition to 1018. So the state, to your point, Jerick, now opposed to 1018.
Nice.
So let me, Michelle, anything to add? I want to,
Yeah, I
Sh-
am
I also want
very
you to talk very specifically about your business. Everybody, this is Mewl, mewlbaby.com, created by a mom for moms. you're on Instagram. It looks like you've got a whole link tree here. So hopefully journalists will kind of dig in and look at Mewl. Same with Lucky Feet Shoes on Instagram as well. Locations all throughout down here in Southern California, but based out of Temecula, Riverside County. Here's Lucky Feet Shoes Instagram. When you're thinking about politicians, lawmakers in the California state legislature who should be hanging out at Mewl Baby, hanging out at Lucky Feet Shoes, crafting these laws and thinking about them with you in mind, Michelle, what would you say?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think America needs to be more small business friendly. And what I mean by that is really not squeezing us out so much with not even just like things getting more expensive, but things getting more complicated. As a new business, I mean, I've been around for 5 years, but the learning curve each year is very, very steep. And now with AI, it's going to be even more complex for small businesses, especially people that haven't really touched and is not familiar with AI. So now I feel like they either have to hire experts that know it, or they're going to just be kind of left behind. And that's the scary part about AI is you could be left behind very, very quickly. Kind of what Jerick is talking about. I am deep dive into AI this year. I'm going to learn a lot about it. And I think what's going to happen is, for somebody or a chat box to kind of answer some basic questions, such as your hours, maybe ask initial questions on what type of feet they have. Those are very AI generated that could be so beneficial where he's not training somebody. Not every single person that he hires has to be an expert in, finding the, I guess, diagnosing the perfect shoe. But once they have it, then they could actually offer customer service. And customer service is what people want to come in the door and want to buy something from you. And I think that initial upfront sales where you want to find the right customer and find them the right product, AI is going to be so beneficial for all these small businesses. And again, if we don't have access and we don't have the money, then we're going to be left behind and only the giants, or we rely on the giants to run our business.
Michelle, at Mewl Baby, can you kind of just walk through though the discount items, the promotions, the coupons, again, that
So
browser?
it's a little tricky, Ryan, because between Walmart and Amazon, they have something called price parity. Price parity means if you sell on Walmart, your price cannot be lower than anywhere else. And coupon was a way to kind of go around this because you're not advertising as that price and you're offering discounts. However, people are just offering discounts year round. And then so now you have this artificial price. And I think the way that I control it the best is through Etsy. For Etsy, that's my sole website where I connect with the customers. I can message the customers, which Walmart and Amazon will never let you do because they don't give out the customer information. But I think I build more relationships and more repeated business on Etsy because I could have that personal touch. So again, when somebody's buying a water bottle, 9 months later, I want to congratulate them on how they're doing, how they become a mother yet. And now I get to have that relationship and talk about my other products, such as my baby chart to log in, the baby schedule, or, if they're going to start solids, what are the first foods that you want to introduce. So again, it's not about me just selling product and running my business. It's about me building a community of mothers and me having joy finding products that fit their lives.
Good. Thanks, Michelle. Jerick, final comments here for our journalists.
Yeah, like you're thinking, the reason I'm here and the reason, Michelle's here is also in how it impacts our business, but impacts all small businesses. And I think once you become a small business person, you understand you've gone through the hardships, working 80 hours a week, not thinking about when the next paycheck's going to come, the money, all these things. So you're sympathetic to everybody else. This affects all small businesses. So I wish, the politicians, when they make these bills, they think about us, they think about the impact, think about how did Michelle get in her business? How did I get in a business? I had to put my house up on there, use my retirement, all these things. We take these chances because there's a passion and we want to do something, but don't keep putting these obstacles in there, and think about us when you're making these kind of bills. What is the impact? Big business, they can afford it. No, they'll get around it, or they'll get an exception, but not us. And like you said, 99% of the companies are small business. So That's what I'd like them to think about. Think about us for a change, not just how it impacts, the big guys.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, Jerick, thank you for doing this. Chase, saw your question. We'll follow up with you. Connected Commerce Council, 501c6 nonprofit. Happy to have Lucky Feet Shoes. Happy to have Mewl Baby. Also, want to make sure that, look, if you've got questions about digital technologies and how Connected Commerce Council is trying to bring these small business owners' stories into your coverage, that's what we're doing. And we'll get you our Form 990 and follow up with you offline. Thanks, everybody. Jerick, thank you. Michelle, Jen, thank you. We'll do this
Thank you for
again
everybody.
as we get closer. It's kind of final days of this legislative session. So thanks again, everybody.
Take care. Bye bye.